Okay, Facebook and YouTube. Today I'm coming with a little simple message because if everyone remembers when I began my channel, I always said from the beginning it would be about more than just plants and fish, and that there would occasionally be moments I would delve into other issues. So today's message is very simple. It's not preachy, it's not really religious. It's basically just a little bit of what I would call friendly advice or words of wisdom. And I'm going to call today's little message When Things Don't Make Sense. And I guess I can draw off of, we're going to just use a relationship for example. Say you have a loved one, a lover, who told you they're on their way home. They said they feel that they'll be home about 10 or 11, and let's say they get home at 11:45. Now, if a person is insecure with their self and they're insecure with the relationship that they're in, the natural mind, if you're a critic, if you're a negative person, or if you're just I can't think of that right word, it's a C word, but let's just say if you're just always critical and always somewhat think the worst, you would probably assume, I knew they were lying, I knew they were cheating. When in reality, they might have stopped just to get gas at the gas station. So when things don't make sense, I guess what I want to say is sometimes you got to freeze your own mind and stop yourself from going to a place of the what ifs, the could it be, would it be, and just let it simply be what it is. So the person was supposed to be they home at 11, they got there at 11:45. You might just want a friendly little, hey, I thought you would have been home by such and such. But don't always draw that out and make it more than what it is, because sometimes when you do that, you can create a situation that really, honestly, truthfully was not there from the beginning. But if you keep pushing and pushing and pushing, one day you wake up and that is exactly the situation that you will be in. So what I'm just simply saying is, be a person with, it all goes back to confidence and being a person who, once you know who and what you are and what you have to offer the world, you'll be less likely to always assume the worst about the people who you surround yourself with. And that's the whole other thing. Just from the beginning, off the top, you have to be very selective from the beginning. And if you don't allow any and everybody around you or in your inner circle, and if you don't link yourself up with any and everybody, that goes a long way in also preventing the whole thing of what about this, what about that. So when life doesn't make sense, just then let it not make sense, but don't create scenarios for yourself that are not truly there. Because like I say, if you accuse a person enough times of being a liar, one of the times, eventually they'll lie to you. If a person is always a cheater in your mind's eye, one day you'll wake up, they'll be a cheater. So many words, have faith in yourself. And if once you get to that point where you don't think the worst of yourself and you know that you're bringing something that someone else wants, you'll be less likely to hold that suspicion. Now, even though I use the relationship as an example, it really applies to anything. It could be a job, it could be, you're about to sign a lease for an apartment and everyone told you it's a bad neighborhood and why would you move here? Don't you know who you're going to be surrounded by? So if you come into it with that mindset, once again, when life doesn't make sense, if you come into it with that mentality of, oh, they're all drug addicts, oh, it's a whole bunch of this, then that's the energy you assign over your own life. So really, even though I said when life doesn't make sense, really what it comes down to is when it doesn't make sense, make it make sense. Change your energy, change what you expect, change what you think you deserve to have happen to you. And it doesn't mean that you're invincible. It doesn't mean that things can't go wrong. It doesn't mean that you won't find yourself in situations. But it just means there is a less likelihood of it because you're projecting confidence, you're projecting belief, you're projecting faith, you're projecting trust. And that goes a long way in preventing negativity. So I'm going to go ahead and end this little message. Like I say, it had nothing to do with the plants or the fish today, which I said that from the beginning. My channel would talk about other issues from time to time. So just take that little word of advice, and when your life does not make sense, make it make sense. And don't expect the worst. All right, thanks a lot.